What did just get myself into moment? Every time I start a new workplace, I always ask myself this. I feel like I spawn in random places. I had been working for a company as a help desk tech for a few years. I got some certs and was looking to progress my career, so I told my boss that I wanted to do the job I was studying for. She was excited to hear I passed my cert and was happy to promote me. As the previous network admin was preparing to retire, while I was acclimating to the role, we got hit with a catastrophic ransomware attack. It was not my fault, but absolutely my problem because I was the only one with any technical skills beyond the help desk. That was a long and tiring engagement. But at least I know what it's like to work 100 hours in a week. Right before having the first kid, 2 hours before it happened, was at a festival and Robert Randolph was offering for someone to play guitar with him. I don't know how he waved me up, but as I am being escorted up by security, the reality of not knowing how to play guitar hits. This was probably the longest 30 seconds of walking in my life, as I was about to be in front of a few thousand people. I get on stage to some cheers. He places a guitar on me and says, "We're in G. You know what you're doing?" Ali can muster is the truth that I know bass. So he quickly pulls the guitar off and finds someone else. Got to watch the rest of the set from backstage, and Mr. Randolph laughed about it after and thanked me for being honest. Apparently people have not been forthcoming and made bigger fools of themselves than I did. When I was 131, went on an outdoor skill program called National Outdoor Leadership School. My friend's brother went, so my friend and I wanted to go. It was a month backpacking in Wyoming. Sounded fun. The course was for 14 to 16-year-olds, but I was almost 14, so with some letters saying I could handle it. I was good. We get there. Most of the other kids are 16. The gear up starts. They hand you a frame pack, tarp, plastic bag to line the pack. Then they start handing you a long rope, sling, ice axe, stove, fuel bottle, fly rod, Franken sweaters with the V-necks sewn up with more fabric and an extra 6 inches added to the bottom. Of other fabrics 50, it looked like 3 sweaters. Boot gaiters, ground pad, small shovel, sleeping bag, etc. Full leather boots to smear with grease. Then you start bagging and dividing up food. 10 IB blocks of cheese, powdered milk, grape nuts, on and on. You lay out your gear and they show you the best way to pack it and put it on. At that age I weighed approximately 130 ibs. My pack and gear with food weighed 45 to 55 ibs. We load up and drive 5 hours out into the mountains where the truck drops us off, and they're like, "See you in a week when we drop off more food." The first day we set up a Tyrolean rope system to river cross. Takes hours. Then we load up the packs and start hiking. At altitude, your body is not used to the pack, the weight, the altitude. The boots are too new. Everything is a pain in the ass. Eating, bathing, snow melt, popping, sleeping, orienteering, getting water, policing the campsite. We're warned not to leave any trash or we'll have to hike back to get it. My friend and I are trudging up the mountain. Body aching, pack swaying, and it felt like a week, but it was day 1 of 28. That was my OMG, what have I gotten myself into moment. My friend is like, "What are we doing here?" Quote, "I wanted to leave with a ration truck so bad. Many kids, including my friend, did. But as your body adjusts and your skills become second nature, soon you begin to notice, it's spectacularly beautiful here. I don't think another person's ever camped here. I don't think I've had snow on July 4th before. I won't say it ever got easy, but I'm glad I stuck it out. It built a lot of character and gave me a sense everyday things were easy. To this day, cat camping seems so luxurious. At NOLS we didn't use tents, just tarps, and no showers. We bathed in snow, melt streams. And that was the way it was and we liked it. TLIDR, backpacking in Wyoming at 13. Big pack, real gear, real mountains. Had my 18th birthday laying on the top bunk of United States Naval Boot Camp in Great Lakes, Illinois. Laying in the dark in the middle of the night 2 weeks in wondering that very thing. When you just start Army basic training, after you finish in processing, you hop on a bus to go meet your drill sergeants that will be there for your stay. This is called shark attack. You hop off the bus with duffel bags only, to be met with men and women in these funny little hats, also called campaign hats, screaming at me, telling me to hurry up and why am I going so slow. That made me think, WTF? Why did I do this to myself? One night after bartending close to 3 in the morning, my girlfriend called me to pick her up from our friend's house. Drove over there, told her I didn't want to come in and that I just wanted to pick her up and get back home and go to bed. Arriving to the house, they waved me in to come inside. I wasn't in the mood but went in anyways. I was the only guy and was just making small talk when the woman who owned the house comes out with a plate with a bunch of lines on it. They start passing it around and it gets to me and I just took the plate and passed it to the next person. Our friend flips out, starts yelling and ranting on how I was being disrespectful, and then out of nowhere she pulls this little snub-nosed pistol out and points right in my face. In my mind I was freaking the fuck out and I remember saying something along the lines of, okay, ill. Do a line. Just put the gun down, I'm sorry. Did a line and stood up, walked straight out the door, got in my car and left. Never hung out with any of them after that. Oh, I definitely have one of these. I was sitting in the Mormon temple during my first endowment ceremony. I had been born and raised in the church, but the temple endowment is something else entirely, and I was not prepared for how different and weird it was. I was sitting on one side of the room with the women while my husband was on the other sickle with the men. They were telling us to chant certain things and we had to put on these weird green robes and veil over our white clothes. My husband had some sort of baker's hat. I remember looking across the room at him wearing that dumb hat and thinking, what have I done? I was so embarrassed. We were supposed to be chanting and learning hand signals and handshakes and my brain was like, I'm in a cult. This is a cult. How did this happen? Quote, I started college on a Navy ROTC scholarship. During orientation week we had to do a very mini boot camp. I missed orientation. Meeting people. Ito. The school was a big ag school. Nowhere near a naval base. We had to report at 4 or 4:30 a.m. in uniform and run around in circles in the parking lot of the ROTC building. Every other lap or so an upperclassman would order you to climb into the dumpster, face the chicken coops and yell, wake up you commie chickens. When they decided that you were done with that, you were ordered to climb out and then berated for the condition of your uniform. It was then that I decided to pay for my own education. When I entered the water of my first Ironman triathlon. When my ex-GF told me the local police were putting out a satellite signal that was preventing her cat from acting like a normal cat. Picking my husband up from jail. On the car ride home, he explained to me the reason he now had a DV charge was that him and his mom got into a fist fight over him wanting to marry me. First day of boot camp. Birth of first child. Second day in prison. 110 feet underwater. Pitch black, massive downwelling current, starting to panic.